Definitely.
That's
Oh, it's just, it is.
He was totally against the thing, right?
Yeah, no, I was really skeptical, and it has been, I was absolutely wrong. It has been really, really good.
Good, thank you. Are you filling out those forms?
Yeah,
the surveys. Good. Okay, so if there are no other questions or comments, we can move on to the next item. I can be very brief with the
Be
next
brief.
item.
Okay, I'm going to depart,
Thank you.
and if we continue to have the meetings at 2 o'clock, they work great for me, and I'll do my best to make sure that I'm in town for the next one. I apologize, I appreciate everybody working with me on this dial-in.
Thank you, Bill.
All right,
Appreciate you
thanks
being
very
here.
much.
Have a good day, Bill.
Thank you, everybody else, so, have a good day.
Bill, you're available by cell?
You can call me at 387-9578. I am on the East Coast.
Yes, that's his cell number.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Talk to you later.
Okay, so the next item is I think there's a practice of having the current investment portfolio on your agenda for the finance committee possibly, right? So, this looks like what has been presented to you in the past, so I'm doing the same thing. And
So
since
maybe-
this is my first time, you can tell me what you wanna know, I'll tell you that.
I would just like to know if there have been any significant changes in the investment portfolio since last time we looked at it.
There's been some significant changes because there's been several calls. And so the calls of investments in November and December kind of sat in our money market account for a few days until I got on board. And unfortunately, at the same time, there was a little transition with our investment advisor company, who usually is the one that's saying, you know, hey, we have some more money to invest. And it was a similar time with the.
Did we change?
No, we had the same firm, but they had a change in who our direct advisor was. The person that had been serving us retired, and so they had an interim person for about a month, and now I've recently met with their new investment advisor, Hal.
Did
So
they,
main
did the
contact.
calls cost us, interest?
Did
The
it
call,
cost us
you sent me
interest?
some
Well, I'm sure they did, Bill.
Oh, there were
RJ.
some calls, but that's pretty typical. Right now, we are investing in securities that are callable because the rate is a little higher.
Yeah.
And so then when they're called, we reinvest them and, you know, try to
Okay.
meet the same rate. But they're carrying a little bit of a higher rate.
Since we're not earning essentially any interest anyway, to not have that interest coming in for a short time is
I
probably not
remember I had a
It's very
25% bond at one
It's
point.
awful. It's awful.
It was
So,
great.
but the one thing I did
Until
wanna
they
ask
called
you, so we have a new investment advisor, and I said, you know, now that you're here, we need to put together a plan of how we can keep reinvesting and kind of laddering our investments and keeping them some diversity. You know, we're always gonna have some money in LAIF, which I think our policy says you have to have less than 50%. We currently don't have any investments in the San Mateo County pool. I think the previous finance director took that out.
Good.
I don't know if you guys discussed that or not, or if it's something you wanna discuss in the future, we
No, I
can do
think
that.
we were in agreement with it.
And
Yeah.
so I'm kind of looking to where can we invest, right? And so our investment
wish I knew.
advisor suggested we look
Apart
at,
from the city,
I
I
know.
wish I knew myself.
he suggested that we invest in some commercial paper. And I thought, oh gosh, that's so 2 or 3 years ago, I'm not sure how I feel about that. So I don't know if you guys have discussed different instruments.
Well, do the
It's,
insurance requirements on commercial paper apply for municipalities?
yeah, there's definitely standards in our investment policy, you do AAA paper, you know, it's within 180 days.
No, but is it
so-
insured up to 250,000?
I'm sure the banks have the, well, I think it's 100,000, isn't it, FDIC
It's 250.
insurance, is it 250?
Well, it is,
So-
that's what they increased it in 2008
Okay,
for all money markets. Well, that's the question.
that is a question, I don't
It's
I
less
understand.
mean, are we insured up to 250 on those CDs if he gets into them?
And the insurance company's not AIG.
I know exactly the ones that are closed down. So that's a good question, I can make sure that they're only the highest rated and
No,
that
I'm
they're
not
fully
worried about the rate, I'm
insured.
worried about the insurance.
Yeah.
It's
okay,
absolute protection,
yeah,
regardless of the rate.
The
okay,
250 is actually federal.
yeah.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about.
I would feel, I mean, and maybe we do a little commercial paper just for diversity, but I would feel much more comfortable investing in just more securities, more
I'm
government-backed
not-
securities.
I'm not sure that the differential in what we can actually earn on that is
Not worth the
worth the
risk.
risk.
Well, we don't know, let him present it.
Okay,
We don't know what the difference is.
so I'll have, in the next week or so, I'll have a conversation with him and.
Because I've
I
been
can-
toying with buying Australian money markets,
Mhm.
because they're yielding 3%. But,
But the dollar is a problem.
well, you got a money market, exchange rate risk, which can be hedgeable, but I I don't know that it.
Should have done it 2
Well, and
years
we're
ago
not gonna
when
invest
the dollar
internationally,
was
so.
50 cents. It's still $1.
So anyways, that's really the only significant change. This is the September statement that's gonna go to council on their agenda. And so I am in the process of reinvesting kind of $500,000 each or $1 million each in mostly, government-backed securities, because I know those are, 100% guaranteed.
Is our policy, is our limitation that we stay in government back? I mean, we couldn't move to CDs, I don't think, without really going to change our policy.
No,
We have
that's
a-
within the policy, it's
It
just
is?
not in the portfolio right now, so I
But
haven't
it is in
explored
the
it.
policy permitted.
He hasn't really said anything about CDs, he was suggesting commercial paper.
Yeah.
What is
as
the
an-
commercial
as an
paper
option.
paying?
A little bit higher.
But not much. No,
Hey, don't
personally.
knock it, let's wait till he proposes.
Okay, okay, so I'll put something together and we can bring it to the
If we
next
save
one.
20,000 a year, it might be worth it.
Okay, so it's worth exploring different things, and now that we have a new person to
Okay,
tap
so
into.
I-
he's
I'm
got-
How often we review those guys?
Well, I'm not sure when their contract was up, I know they come to one of these meetings once a year, in like July or something, when they
Yeah.
present the investment.
They're out of Denver, aren't they?
Yeah, they're out of Denver.
Not
So-
sure why that worked.
So if you have any questions, you can email me and
Yeah.
I'll.
All right, is that the last item, should we?
That,
adjourn?
besides setting the agenda, that is the last item.
Will you give me my pencil back?
Well, since you have two committees, you're gonna have two different,
So Bill did ask me, here, I can use pencil.
or are we blending the committees?
He asked me to set two separate meetings for this, so, if the audit committee,
We're
I-
scheduled for an April meeting, I don't know if we need that, that was in order to discuss the procedure,
Right.
purchasing policy,
I
so
don't
I don't
need
know.
Yeah, you had it
And
April,
we're-
April 17th.
Yeah, right, and we typically need every quarter, so I'm not sure that we, since you'll be emailing us, the updates, I'm not sure we can meet regarding that, unless, I can't remember if there was
So
something
when
else on
would
the
that
agenda.
put us in if we didn't do April?
What else is on the agenda?
Well, I will be gone from the 2nd to the 16th of April.
Like Rose was saying, at least the audit committee, we didn't need a meeting.
Well, actually, on the agenda, we were going to talk about, the irrevocable trust
Mhm.
issue.
Mhm.
I don't think that's urgent, that's sort of an update
Yes.
Well, we also talked about that, where do we stand with that controller thing? You're gonna just tell us when he's gonna be with us?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, how are our property tax allocated?
Yeah.
And his response was, well, it's based on a formula that was, set when Prop 13 was set,
I know, that's
and
what he told me.
basically, you're screwed, this is what you
But I
get.
think what Greg said is, let's see your calculations.
I wanna make sure somebody knows what the calculation is, that we're following because, I mean, some guy could have goofed 20 years ago or 50 years ago.
Okay.
And it's been carrying on for 50 years.
I don't- a lot of
We had this
people-
conversation before you got on the audit committee,
Yeah.
then with Rose. This has been around, this has been around a while. So it'd be
we'd
nice to
like
see some
Yeah, we'd like
resolution
to
to
get
this.
the,
So you've been asking for that for a long time?
Yeah,
Okay, I mean, it's
yeah.
the most significant revenue that
That's
we
right, I
have,
mean,
so
that's
it's
okay.
worth looking into.
We paid 61 million, I don't know who got that number for.
That's exactly why we were asking.
And we only get 4.8, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
Well, actually, we get about 6. We get secured and unsecured.
so April 17th, maybe if we move it to May, the auditors are coming for their preliminary audit in April. I might have something to report based on their field work, and then we can bring back those other two items.
okay, that's not, I'm going to be
So-
out of town for the end of April, until mid-May, so I'm not sure what time frame you're talking about.
Well, I would appreciate doing it after June 5th.
Well, I'll be out of town from the 23rd of May to the 28th. And I'll be out of town a good chunk of June.
Well, what
So
about,
are you talking about finance though?
June 5th?
Because
This is audit, right?
okay, we're
what
talking.
day do we normally meet? We meet on Tuesdays?
Usually
We do.
Tuesdays,
How about the 10th of June? Of course, I'll probably be out of
I can make it 10th of June.
I can make it 10th of June.
Yeah, I can make it 10th of June. 10th of June is actually a
And
Sunday.
when is the
It's a
audit?
Sunday, but I can
The auditors, well, let's talk about the auditor's schedule, that's more tying in with what we
It's the
normally.
12th of June, I'm
So
sorry.
when are they planning to come back and what's their activity?
they do a pre-audit, or they do tests of internal controls.
Preliminary audit.
They review the
All right,
procedures.
what's the time frame? I know that. but
The
what-
last week of April, they're
Last
coming.
week of April, okay, doesn't work.
So
They're not
they
gonna
did
meet with
something
us on the
June.
preliminary, are they?
No, but, you know, you have your planning meeting, they don't need to meet with you, but I can report to you on anything that they had as a finding or any new things.
Well, let's get a date set up.
Oh, let's say June 12th, I may regret it. but-
Okay, well, that's fine. I
Is
can
that a
make-
Tuesday?
Yeah.
That's a Tuesday, I can make
June
June
12th
12th.
at 2.
Okay.
That's the audit committee,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
The audit committee, and then we have a finance committee meeting set, so that I can go over the budget. What date did I give you for that? Do you have it on your calendar?
Okay, we're good.
May 1st.
So you're looking for council dates?
No, May 1st, I put this on the budget calendar,
Yeah,
that the finance committee would meet on May 1st.
okay, that's a Tuesday.
Does that work for the finance committee? And then I would bring
I
the
think so.
preliminary budget to you on that day and
Yes, that would
the
work.
other items.
May 1st, finance
We
committee.
can try it. 2 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. Is the audit committee 2 o'clock as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Good, all right.
So we're done with what? The finance committee or the audit committee?
Both.
Oh.
Did you get May 1st
Oh, did we
and
cover the
June
audit committee?
12th?
Yeah, June,
June 12th, you called it.
As per your suggestion.
No, I'm talking about if we finished the meeting,
We finished that a long time ago.
not for both segments, did we?
yeah, we did,
We did.
finished.
Okay. I haven't watched it yet.
So I'll make a motion that.
Well, now,
we
wait a
adjourn.
minute, we went through the finance committee.
I second your motion, Tim.
We're adjourned.
At least for the finance committee, I second your
Adjourn.
motion.
Make a motion that
Thank
the
you.
audit committee adjourns.
Hi, I'm
I'll
Jim
second
Maxson.
that.
Okay.
I'm Jeff
All
Wise.
approved?
Jeff, nice to meet you.
Four.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, good.
Done.
We're done. We're
Done.
out of here.
All right.